This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com with a friend of mine from Louisiana. He is the official ring announcer for Championship Wrestling from Atlanta that does tapings at Center Stage, where WCW used to film the WCW Saturday night show that we all loved so much, and so many memorable angles and incidents happened there, including the Vader Paul Orndorff battle. But Bryce Boudreaux, one of the top ring announcers in the industry, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Hannibal. How are you? Long time no see, my friend.
Yeah, it's almost been a year now, hasn't it? It's very cold here already in Canada. It feels like we can get snow almost any day now where I am.
It's just starting to get cold down here. I think we hit like 55 today, and windy and gloomy, and people aren't liking it. So it is what it is. Gumbo weather. Call that. We cook a good gumbo down here.
Yeah, you guys are known for your food in Louisiana. I never actually made it up there. I was hoping to go up there, but maybe I'll be there another time. I know that that Kevin Sullivan was talking to me. He has a friend in Louisiana that might be trying to organize something there in the future. But we're here to talk about Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. So let's get into it. How did you become involved with UWN?
Man, that's a really good question. That's the best question you've asked so far. Man, so long story short.
It's also the first question I've asked. So yeah.
So, man, it was around the time where we were both working with that group in Texas that I guess is defunct, SWE, and we were working with them. And whenever I wasn't working with them, before anyone knew about it, I was also talking to David Marquez. And David Marquez had just randomly posted on Facebook one day, if you want your own United Wrestling Network affiliate, send me an email, call me, whatever. I'm like, I started putting two and two together. Like, man, I think I can do this. I've worked for the United Wrestling Network. I was a ring announcer for a company. Well, I guess it was Championship Wrestling from Louisiana, which is never even saw the light of day. It was filmed and it was never aired or sent to the public. Happened in Louisiana, dead brand. But I was like, you know what? I've worked with United Wrestling Network. I know who's in charge. I think I can do this. And my ideas were totally not what David Marquez's ideas were. And instead, his ideas were he was looking for local television people that could get him a TV deal, put his product on TV, and get some sponsors, get stuff going. And it's kind of like, hey, the more you put into it, the more money you can make with it. And I said, hell yeah, I'm down. I'm all in. Like, this could be great. All I need to do is just record myself in front of a green screen and bam, I'm on TV. And so we came up with Championship Wrestling Gulf Coast as the newest affiliate of Championship Wrestling in the United Wrestling Network. And essentially we would air the syndicated footage that he recorded in Hollywood, which was Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. But we would air it down here and we would repackage the intro and different stuff. And we would make it suitable for the Gulf Coast region, like Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama. I think that's all the Gulf Coast states. But yeah, essentially, that's it. We weren't running any territorial wrestling. We weren't coming to your town doing a show. It was just simple as that. Me hosting the show on CBS Lake Charles, our local affiliate. And went from there. The folks at SWE found out about it. Weren't too thrilled because, I mean, clearly I was just trying to take over and trying to run TV in their backyard, whatever the hell that means. So shortly after that, SWE gives me debut, or Tom Lance, or whatever that guy's name was, said I was doing TV in his backyard and I work for another company, so I can't work for him. I don't know. And then that's whenever Marquez was like, okay, he wants to play dirty, we can do that too. And so there was operations that were going to start in Texas, and I don't think anything came out of that. But then he kept telling me about Atlanta. We've got Atlanta coming up. All operations are headed towards Atlanta. And then that's whenever he said, hey, look, we've got something going on at Center Stage in Atlanta. Car Shield is going to be our official sponsor of it. And it's going to be nationwide television with Peachtree TV will be airing in Canada, So, and that was that. And so I knew about Championship Wrestling from Atlanta from the start. And it was a dream that I guess Dave had. You can ask him that long before this. I mean, he's just a television wizard. And so we went from there. And it was officially announced that Championship Wrestling from Atlanta would happen. And everybody wanted to be booked. And I had no clue. Dude, I had no clue. And I absolutely did not think I would ever be even getting close to going to Atlanta. I thought for sure, Championship Wrestling Gulf Coast is my place. That's as far as I'll go. And I remember David had posted on Facebook, I'm looking for broadcasters, looking for ring announcers. If you think you're good enough, send me your reel, send me your resume. And I remember sending him my stuff. And I was like, hey, it's worth a shot. I was like, hey, look, if you don't mind, just take a gander at it. And he just sent me like an LOL. And he's like, don't worry about it. Like, you're a part of the damn thing. Like, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, whatever that means. And then about a month or so later, I remember he posted something on Facebook. He's like, I've looked through every demo reel and every single ring announcer that has sent me their footage has the same gimmick. They wear goofy suits and they say one fall and they think that they are the show. And that's not what I want. And I can't use anybody. And then I just texted him. I just like, hey, I've never even asked you since you're such a broadcast expert. Like, can you watch some of my footage? And he was like, oh, well, you got the job, by the way. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're the guy for Atlanta. What? And he's like, yeah. I thought I told you that. Like, you've been the guy. Well, I had no clue. He's like, yeah, you were the first guy that I considered. Like, you're the voice of Atlanta. Congratulations. So that was quite a surprise. And then we went from there. We had our first tapings back in September at Center Stage. That was a dream come true to announce in that building. It was a little different getting used to the way that David Marquez produces television, but I'm quickly adapting to the way he likes things, and that's that. We've had our first tapings at Center Stage. We've had our second tapings in October. And now we are kind of branching out into Atlanta and working with Mucha Lucha Atlanta, which is the premier Lucha Libre promotion in Norcross, which is Atlanta. So we're going to be working at Mucha Lucha's building, which is Espacioso Discotec. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah,
that's coming up. I could not tell you. I've never known how to speak Spanish.
I can speak a little bit. Of course, I work with a lot of people that speak Spanish, so I've kind of adapted some Spanish. I can speak a little French, a little Spanish, just enough to get by,
Yeah, I can speak French, but my accent's not the greatest, so I only do it when absolutely necessary. But this is the poster for the big event at Center Stage coming up this Sunday, and I see you have none other than Luke Gallows,
brother,
the headliner.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna drink plenty of beer with him after the event. We're gonna slam some ice cold gimmicks and tell some good stories. I've never met. I don't think I've ever met him, but I can't wait. I think we have a lot in common. Beer would be one of them.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I've actually wrestled him before in Atlanta or in McDonough, Georgia, for Deep South Wrestling, and he actually busted my eye open in that match.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
okay. It's part of the sport. But I think he was called Freakin' Deacon back then.
Oh, wow, that is so old. That is a long time ago. Yeah, that's been a long time.
And he had the garbage lady, Melissa Coates, who sadly passed away, managing him. They just treated her like shit in that company. Dressed her up like a bum, and at one point they had actually Luke Gallows give her a stink face when he was naked.
It's terrible.
This donut story like they had. We won't get into that, but But for people that don't know David Marquez, he was involved with XPW.
Yeah.
At one point, NWA. And now he's doing his own thing, but he's been doing his own thing all along too. Even New Japan of America at one point.
Yeah, you definitely know your knowledge. Yeah, that's a fact.
So yeah, what could you tell us about David and his producing?
Dude, he's first of all, I've worked with a lot of promoters, and I will say, you know, being a promoter, I can understand things are tense. And hell, I've co-promoted events, and I am tense. And somebody comes up and even says hello. I'm like, hey, look, I'm busy. You know, David Marquez has literally not only the show, but television deals and networking with sponsors, literally stuff that's just bigger than wrestling on his neck the entire night, whole night. Smile from ear to ear. He's super approachable. People have questions. Fans don't know where to sit. He's helping them out. Oh, hi, you're going to sit here. You know, people like asking about their character. Well, you know, I like this and I like this. And like, he's super approachable. And people online like love to say, oh, well, that's what Dave Marquez does. And Marquez does, you know, the paid programming wrestling. You say what you want, but that is the most comfortable promoter I've ever seen at a wrestling show. Like, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, he's super approachable. He doesn't like the talk behind the back, scared stuff. If you've got a question, just ask him. He's going to be brutally honest about it, but this is how it is. He's not going to sugarcoat nothing, but he's super approachable if you have any questions. But as far as television producing, not to spill the beans, but, you know, whenever you've got Marquez in your ear and you've got camera guys that are all over the place and his specialty is camera work, you know, he's like, you know, camera one, camera two, ah, we just lost that shot, you know, it's stuff like that. And hearing that in your ear all night is something else, but it just shows you his passion about this. And there's a reason why he's been in this for, I think, 30 years. You know, I mean, he started just like me, early 20s. And, you know, who knows how old David Marquez is now.
He
God bless him.
doesn't really age. He reminds me of like J.J. Dillon. He
Yes.
looks pretty much the same as always.
Yes, he's always looked the same. But yeah, just a true wizard and genius of filming professional wrestling.
Yeah,
Nobody
and that's one thing SWE didn't have is the producer, a good producer that was like telling them what angles to get and what shots to use as far as their actual show. That was one of the things that the company needed. And I have seen championship wrestling from Atlanta and some of the other championship wrestlings that he presents, and it's definitely very professionally produced, to say the least.
Hey, he would love to hear that from you. He would probably disagree because he's just such a perfectionist. And you know, like we're all critical of our own work, and he's super critical of his work. But he would definitely appreciate you saying that. Well,
we're supposed to have him on. He's probably a little busy this week, but maybe some point this month we'll have him on.
Well, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's great. Matter of fact, while we're talking, I need to share this. I've been trying to share it, and we've just been talking and talking. But
well, while you're sharing it, where can people follow you? I just looked you up on Twitter.
Yeah, man, I'm not really active on Twitter. I really am. I needed to just delete my Twitter. Don't worry about following me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, Bryce_Boudreaux. Follow me on Facebook at Bryce Boudreaux. I'm on LinkedIn too. If you want to give me a job, Bryce Boudreaux, very easy to find. But Twitter, I just never got into Twitter.
It's not popular in Canada either. I only have it because like most Americans have it, but like hardly any Canadians have Twitter. Like none of my friends from here do, unless they're in the wrestling business for whatever reason. There is a guy on here now. I don't know if this is him as the wrestling character or if this is a wrestling character on Championship Wrestling, but he wants to know, how does the wrestler who calls himself Mr. Outlandish fit into Championship Wrestling? He does make a fine heel.
Well, He's referring to Zicky Dice. I don't know if you remember Zicky Dice. He was with NWA Power. He was the NWA television champion at one time, and now he's with Impact Wrestling. He's also, I guess, like the Joker of the Court at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. I don't know what he's doing in Atlanta. I think he lives somewhere in the area, but out of nowhere, he just like pops in and pops out, kind of like Bobby the Brain Heenan used to do back in the day. And he's got a hell of an array of suits, and that's why they call him Mr. Outlandish or Outlandish Zicky Dice. Last time we were there, he went out in the ring, totally interrupted the show. Yes, we have a run sheet of matches that we were filming, but he just like totally interrupts everything, and we're like, what the hell's going on? What the hell is Zicky Dice doing out here? You know, this wasn't a part of the entertainment, and he's just like, hey, look. We're going to give somebody an opportunity. He wants 15 minutes of fame. I think he offered some kid in the crowd money. Like the kid was definitely 17 and not 18 years old, and beat the hell out of him. So poor kid. I think his parents are passed away too. So we couldn't really he couldn't follow any lawsuits or anything. He's just a fan. But besides the point, Zicky Dice is outlandish. So that's that.
Now, center stage in Atlanta, obviously, as I was saying earlier, was WCW Saturday Night's home. I remember the Flair for the Gold vignettes that they used to produce from there that I always was a big fan of. Any memories from WCW that you remember from that center stage building?
Well, I will definitely say this, and of course, I'm a little bit younger, so I'll leave that at that. But I mean, of course, I remember throughout the years, Ring of Honor always going to the center stage, and NXT would pop up with a house show. But I remember watching old clips of Andre, and then Jim Cornette running in there, like Mid-South's taking over, and sort of Smoky Mountains taking over at the center stage. And but one thing, and not really as much of a WCW television memory, but just memories in general, the famous picture of Dusty Rhodes and Andre the Giant at the urinal, where Dusty's grabbing Andre's ass, that was taken at the center stage. And fun story, me and Scotty Beach ran all over the building before the tapings one time. We're like, where's that bathroom? We had the picture. We're like, where's the bathroom? We got our phones like, where's the bathroom at? Where's the bathroom? No, this one doesn't have 2 urinals. And we couldn't find it. Our conclusion was that they've done renovations and maybe they've gotten rid of that one. But another cool little memory, and WWE posted a video about it, but the loading dock door that goes, because the center stage, like, it goes up as like an incline, and then there's a loading dock, and then there's a door you can go through, and then that door, there's staircase that goes straight up, and then that's wherever, that's the floor level for the center stage. Well, that doorway years ago during WCW Saturday Night tapings, there was this young guy that knocked on the door hoping for an opportunity. He was told to go there by Arn Anderson, and Dusty Rhodes answered the door. He said, what can I do for you, kid? And he said, Arn Anderson told me to come here for a tryout. And I said, okay, well, we've got this. He jobbed out to some guy. And so the kid goes and sits down in the back locker room where we all got dressed and everything, watches the monitor, and Arn Anderson taps on the shoulder and says, congratulations, kid, you got a job. That kid was Triple H. And so I took a picture on my Facebook a while back of that doorway where Triple H first met Dusty Rhodes. And so that's very special. And that's just one of the special moments that's happened in that building. It's a very special building. And I don't think it's lost its mystique at all. I think that we've carried on the history in our way that we could of bringing wrestling back to the center stage. And hopefully sometime soon we will be back at center stage. We're just, United Wrestling Network is open to partnerships, and we are working with Mucha Lucha Atlanta. And so that's Sunday. You're going to see a little something different. You'll see a mix of Lucha Libre as well as our United Wrestling Network championship wrestling style of professional wrestling mixed with a little bit of Lucha Libre. So it'll be a little bit interesting.
There's a fan on here that says, who could forget the Shockmaster falling was also at center stage.
That was at center stage?
Yeah. And I believe Colonel Parker bringing out Harlem Heat in shades, which was quickly dropped
God.
because they almost the TBS officials had a fit.
That is insane. I don't even know.
Did you ever hear that?
No, I've never heard that. I tell you what, you remember the pit bulls, Gary Wolf, and I can't think of the other pit bull's name. God rest his soul. But who was it? Paul Ellering that would bring the pit bulls out, and he had them in chains. I can't remember.
I don't remember, but yeah, apparently the guy that looks like a plantation owner, Colonel Parker, having two black guys in jumpsuits that were supposed to be
terrible
conflicts, leading them out by chains. That was not looked at very well by the executives, and I think it may have been Dusty's idea. But I heard they almost fired Harlem Heat over it, apparently, even though it's like it had nothing to do with them. But Sid somehow like smoothed it all out, because somehow it was Sid that brought Harlem Heat into WCW.
I could just see Sid. I have half the brain that you do.
He's a good guy. People like to pick on him, but
I know
he's an interesting guy.
But he's a hell of a softball player, though. I mean, he plays a lot of softball.
I was just telling the world-class pro wrestling owner who used Sid in the past that there should be a world-class pro wrestling charity softball game, and they should bring Sid in.
Yeah.
And like film it, because I think everyone wants to see Sid play softball.
I love to. There's a lot of wrestlers out there. Tim Storm being one of them, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, who was an incredible softball player. Mustang Mike, former NWA North, I think he was North American Champion. He was an incredible softball player, still is. So there's a lot of this is a time in wrestling where everybody was going in as football players, baseball players, all around athletes. Nowadays, not to pick on anybody, but people see what they see on TV and they said, hey, I can do that with no athletic ability. And like over time, they just become, gymnastics people. I'm not poo-pooing on nobody, but that's just how things have, that's tables have turned. Used to be, it was like, oh, hell, I can't make no more money playing football. Guess I'll go be a wrestler. Things have turned.
Yeah, I've never really been a fan of gymnastics unless it's really hot girls doing it. So I'm not really a fan of the gymnastics style of wrestling.
What a way to answer that
one. But as far as we talked about the one guy from UWN, could you tell us about some of the roster that you guys have?
Man, I will definitely say this, and this has been an eye-opening thing, because I think much like you, I really don't watch a whole lot of what's on TV. Like, I really don't watch a whole lot of WWE or AEW. Like, I'll tune in if I'm off, and I'm like, hey, look, AEW's on. But we have a lot of talent that's featured on AEW. I could just go down the roster, man. You can look at that poster and you can tell. I mean, you've got guys like AC Mack and Reka Tehaka and Baron Black and Sean Dean, and just about every one of those people that you see on that thing right there, that flyer. A lot of them have been featured on AEW and AEW Dark, and a lot of those people as well. Some not so featured, but we've had a lot of talent that comes out of the Nightmare Factory. So a lot of the talent was trained by Cody Rhodes or Dustin Rhodes or QT Marshall. So you're seeing a lot of that too. Carly Bravo is one of those guys, like I said, Baron Black, and Alan Angels. It's his Championship Wrestling from Atlanta debut. He's AEW star, of course, a part of the Dark Order. So he'll be with us. So that'll be cool. And one thing, and I don't think anyone has publicly said this, you never know really who is at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, like sitting in the crowd. Because, like, it's a lot of the AEW folks. You just never know who. Like, there was one night Jimmy Wang Yang was there, Jordan Grace was there. I can't. Oh man, my mind's drawing a blank right now. I can see her. I cannot think of her name. We'll come back to her. But
Lacey Von Erich.
who?
Lacey Von Erich.
No, she don't even know about this. With all respect to her, she don't even know what's going on in Atlanta. So, I mean,
so yeah, so it's almost like a development in a way for AEW if the Nightmare Factory, an unofficial one, if their trainees are in there and you have AEW people watching, and obviously the higher ups are probably watching the TV show product as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a chance for a lot of these guys to get that exposure on TV and how to work television. And a lot of them are learning how to work television properly. You know, they teach a lot of that at the Nightmare Factory, but you know, that's within closed doors. This is the world right here. You know, you step in the center stage or wherever Championship Wrestling from Atlanta is filming from, and you know, that's real people out there that's watching you, and you're going to be broadcasted all over the world, all in every state and almost every major city across the country. You know, and this ain't no, you know, little mom and pop show. This is United Wrestling Network. You understand? But yeah, it's quite the mix of the AEW Dark faithful. You know, you have a lot of people from AEW Dark, AEW. I'm almost expecting Luther to make a surprise appearance on Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. It could happen. Larry, you're exactly right. Anything could happen. I'm hearing rumors. Hey, Jimmy Wang Yang is now WWE producer. Yes, I didn't know that. But hey, he was at Championship
I
Wrestling.
can confirm that. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
One.
That is awesome. I was a huge fan of him, especially whenever he was in TNA. Hey, shout out to Rod Sterling, my trainer, my mentor. My boy Rod Sterling is here. You should interview Rod Sterling, Hannibal. Rip that goatee off your fortunes. What in the world?
Trolls.
And I love this is my goatee, and it ain't going anywhere, Bubba. You wish
you had longer hair though, didn't you? At one point, you had a Robin Hood type thing going. At one point, didn't you? Didn't you have like long hair, or am I imagining that when I first met you?
I mean, yeah, it was probably a little bit longer. I've tried to figure something out. I've got this thing going on right here on the sides. It's kind of cleaned up, you know. But I used to actually have long ponytail, and I used to tie it up and, you know, long hair in the ring. That just looks sloppy. It looks tacky and messy, unruling. So I just kind of went for more of the Jackson Stone said, "Cut your hair, kid. You look like a stud." So I did that, and I look a little bit more, I don't know, TV ready, I guess. Terrence Ward is here. What's up, Terrence Ward? Good to see you, Bubba. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for hopping in.
Mitch would like to know who is the most famous wrestler you announced a match for. You did, I think, announce the Blood Hunter once, so he's got to be up there.
He's got to be right up there, right up at the top. The Blood Hunter. The Blood Hunter. What did he wrestle? Just Incredible, and that's whenever Just Incredible threw that. There's like a wooden chair at my leg, and like that shit hurt.
I was in the back for that show, and he was completely hammered. He's got serious problems.
He was out of there.
It's the only time I've seen a wrestler run away in a match.
Yeah. I remember seeing it. That was horrible.
A funny story about that Kevin Sullivan told me is I guess because he was out of it, he didn't wipe all the blood off of his face from the Blood Hunter beating on him. He drove back to the hotel with, I guess, Kevin and Andrew Anderson, covered in blood still. And he was like apologizing for not finishing the match because Kevin, of course, is the matchmaker. And he says, "I'll buy you guys pizza to make up for this, blah, 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 blah." So they get back to the hotel. They're waiting like half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. Nothing about this pizza that's getting delivered. So finally Kevin goes and knocks on his door. And he like wakes up completely passed out, answers the door. and has no memory of saying he's going to buy these guys pizza. And by this time it's late. They have an early flight. So Kevin's not a big fan anymore.
Well, I know Kevin Sullivan likes to eat, man. I remember we went to Chili, or was it Applebee's after the show one time, and that dude got like grilled shrimp, and I remember like watching Kevin Sullivan eating shrimp, and he was going to town on some shrimp, and I was like, look at this guy from Boston eating shrimp, like he's eating shrimp like people from Louisiana eat shrimp. He's like, and he was like eating the shrimp. I was like, dude, Kevin Sullivan's got the hell of an appetite. Like Kevin Sullivan's real good. Texas Wrestling Review is here. Behind the scenes, Furman Perez. Texas Wrestling Review is back. I am the first ever, obviously, of the 2020 Texas Wrestling Review Ring Announcer of the Year. Hoping to make that a number 2 with 2021 Ring Announcer of the Year. So thank you, Texas Wrestling Review, for stopping by. Appreciate it. Love you, Furman. That guy asked a question.
Yeah, I was just going to remind you, I completely digressed from the question. The most famous person you've announced.
Yeah, I would have to. I mean, he didn't wrestle, but I would have to say Mark Henry. I mean, household name. I announced him several times. You know, he's got to be up there. I can't think of anyone else that's top that.
Very good. Now, this is a long question, and I have to use the bathroom for a second, so I'll let you answer this while I'm doing that.
Kayfabe, just say you're going like make a snack or something. Okay, Mr. Majestic 13. Hey, Roman numeral 13. That's my lucky number. Black Struggle 77. With the recent and current WWE releases of their talent and pending release of the entire ROH roster, those performers may find a home with United Wrestling Network. Absolutely, Mr. Majestic. David Marquez, our president and CEO of United Wrestling Network, has openly said the United Wrestling Network's doors are open. If you want to work here, the door is open. We probably can't exactly match a WWE contract, but we can do what we can, and we can provide you work, plain and simple. So our doors are open. We've opened the doors for numerous amounts of former WWE talent, former Ring of Honor talent, and Impact talent, and former talent of any promotion that's no longer a thing or whatever. So yes, we absolutely open the door, and I think a lot of people were released today. And, you know, that's kind of a sucky thing. You know, it really is a bummer. It's just
18 people, actually.
What's that?
18 talent were released.
So, yeah, 18 talent were released. Hey, look, it's going to suck for a second. But, hey, you can go pick up some independent bookings if you still want to wrestle. If not, there's plenty of work out there. Not just wrestling. Just saying. So there's no excuses. Money is available to go make it. World is yours. Keep your head up. Go fill out some applications. That's all I got to say about that.
It's true. Most of us have to work normal jobs most of our lives, so I don't have all that much sympathy. At least they got to live their dream for a little bit, which is more than most wrestlers can say. Although I will say Harry Smith was under contract for 7 months, and they only gave him a dark match, which might be the record for the highest paid dark match of all time.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I didn't even know he signed him a contract. Like, he showed up as in like a dark match, and they interviewed him, and he was in the Hall of Fame. Like, that was it. And I'm like, wait, he was working? What?
His last indie match was actually his SWE match against Blood Hunter, which was in like end of February, and he was signed since April.
Oh, that was at that building that SWE still owes money on, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Off the Civic Center.
Yeah. Apparently, they owe them $500.
What's that?
Apparently, they're still $500 delinquent on their venue rental. But now that they're defunct, I guess they can just claim bankruptcy.
Yeah, just claim bankruptcy. Who cares?
Now, a couple of the releases that I was shocked by, which I think definitely UWN might be interested in, would be Scarlett And I don't know if it's Bordeaux or Boudreaux. I don't know if it's this any relation.
She is a Bordeaux. She is a Bordeaux. And she's the
Bordeaux.
reason why everybody calls me Bryce Boudreaux. So
Right.
Scarlett, if I could, Scarlett Boudreaux, if you're listening, I want you to look at me and I want you to focus. We need to change your last name. Our names sound stupid similar, and people are calling me Bryce Boudreaux, and they're probably calling you Scarlett Boudreaux. And I know you're not happy, and I'm not happy. We got to do something about our names. I'm not changing my name. That leaves you. So I think just calling yourself Scarlett would be really cool. Hey, let's talk about it. If you need someone to help you change your name, I'm here for it. But everybody keeps calling me Bryce Boudreaux. You don't understand the pain that I go through whenever people say Bryce or Bruce. They call me Bruce. Bruce Bodrocks or Bordeaux or Bordock. And we got to change our names. People ain't flying with this French stuff. It just ain't happening.
So there's Scarlett, and a couple of people have said they want to see Scarlett and Carrion against Bloodhunter and Blaze, so that could be interesting for the future. But I was surprised they released Carrion Cross. Were you surprised? Even though he was
isn't he like the NXT champion right now?
I don't know. I haven't watched NXT for so long, but he had a good run there.
I know Braun Breaker is like sponsored by Shoney's or something. God bless him. Hey, you know what? The only person I care about on that damn NXT roster right now is my cousin Parker Boudreaux. I don't know what the hell they're doing with him. They gave him some different name, but my boy Parker, dude, from Crowley, Louisiana, played football at UCF. And that was the guy that they said is the next Brock Lesnar. And cousin Parker, you're making us Boudreaux feel proud.
Is he really your cousin?
Yeah, dude, we're all related. You kidding me? Yeah. I mean, we've never really met, but we are definitely cousins.
I've heard a lot of the hype about this guy. I'll find his picture for the fans, but you seem to know a lot about him, so maybe you could fill us in because I know that they want to push him.
Yeah, man. Parker, man, me and Parker were raised the same. I mean, we have that identical Boudreaux frame. He was raised in Crowley. I was raised in Lake Charles, right down I-10 from each other. About, I don't know, maybe about 45 minutes. I could be wrong. But yeah, man, he's down in Crowley. He was growing up eating rice and gravy and boudin and cracklings and all that good stuff, man. His mom would make a gravy and make his toes curl just like that. And look at him. Now he's wrestling for NXT. God bless him.
Yeah, I don't know if he was the one, but there was some bizarre angle that I saw in NXT highlights a while ago where it's like a guy is like touching another guy and it like makes them not fight or something. I think it may have been Parker in that, but I'd have to watch it again. But there's his picture.
That's my boy.
Yeah. So there is a similarity to Lesnar.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, that was the whole thing. That's why Paul Heyman was like, look at this guy. You sir, you can take this guy. He could be the next Brock Lesnar. I'm telling you. And this guy, Parker, man, cousin Parker, I don't know what the hell they're doing with him, but he's making the bank. He's making the green. And I'm happy for him, man. He don't have to work on the rice farm every day, throwing sacks of rice into a truck. That's right. Parker worked in them rice fields, boy. You already know, Rod. Seriously. He was out there on that combine. He was out there on that combine rugging them rice fields and them crawfish.
And this guy says I'm right. It was him that they're giving that weird gimmick to, and I don't know. I hope they give him a different gimmick because I watched that for the 5 seconds of the highlights and I was just like, what the hell are they doing here?
I don't know. I'm kind of lost too, but hey, he's making money.
On a good note, usually when they switch them to WWE's main roster, they switch the gimmicks.
Yeah, it seems like that's a can you do a Bruce Pritchard impression? No, I can't. I will definitely say that. Hey,
you do a Bruce Pritchard love impression.
I can do lots of impressions. But I will say me and Bruce Pritchard are kind of similar. We were both super young whenever we got in the business, and he was a ring announcer at the same age I'm a ring announcer, I guess. And yeah, so I will say that. And we worked in around the same area, so yeah, all respect to Bruce Pritchard. I know getting a hold of that guy is really hard. You know, I just want to talk to him about what was Houston like, man, because I go to Houston all the time. So
I know he loves talking about Houston wrestling. He was going to do an interview with me before he got rehired by WWE, but I was too slow. So I really regret that I didn't get that interview now.
you drink a Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings.
Yeah. No, I just didn't make it down to Texas in time at that point, but whatever. I'm sure I'll get him down the road. Now, speaking of ring announcers, do you have an all-time favorite? A lot of people love Howard Finkel. I'd put Michael Buffer above Howard, but there's so many greats.
Yeah, there's a lot of greats, and Howard Finkel. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's the great. You know, Howard Finkel. Mine are different. I grew up watching David Penzer, Tony Schimmel, Jeremy Borash, guys like that. Bobby Cruz, Justin Roberts. Like I said, my top ring announcers are different, and I will definitely say I've taken a lot of my style from the way that Jeremy Borash did in TNA, as well as David Penzer did. Tony Schimmel, I've taken a lot of my style from Tony Schimmel. And over time, and if there's ring announcers watching this, man, go back and watch Bruce Buffer's first time ring announcing. Go back and watch that. And he don't know what the hell he's doing. But you go watch Bruce Buffer today, and it's like he's just the maestro. Ed Whalen was the best. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Calgary's a little far from Louisiana, though, and he was a little bit before your time.
Yes, he was.
I'm not a big fan of David Penzer just because he's really annoying to work with, and he's a total diva and prima donna, in my opinion.
Hey! While we're on the topic, and I don't think we ever talked about this. I don't want to take away his bookings or anything, but at the end of your videos, I don't know if it still plays. Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like and comment. Man, we should switch that up, dude. You should let me do that for you. I'll do that for you. I'll do that for you. You're my boy.
Well, I guess the old one has been up there long enough if you want to do another one.
Hell yeah. We could. I got all the recording stuff to do it. You just send me a script and I'll record it for you.
Very good. Craig says Ed Whalen was the best in his opinion. I've heard Bruce Buffer makes like mega cash on Cameo because so many people want like the ring announcer greeting that he actually is one of the top Cameo people these days.
Yeah, Bruce and Michael, which all due respect to them. I mean, they're ring announcing royalty, and they're brothers too. But here's the thing with Bruce and Michael is that there's so many people that have just completely copied both those guys. You go to any MMA or boxing event around the country, and the ring announcer says, "Oh, are you ready?" They do that whole spiel. Or it's time. Everybody's got to do that same thing. Like we got to find our own thing. You find your own thing, and not everybody needs a catchphrase, you know. So I'll leave that at that. You know, like I said, you find your own cadence over time. I finally found mine, and I'm rolling with it. You know, there's really nothing to it. I mean, you're just talking to the crowd, just letting them know who's fighting. Plain and simple.
Are you well known enough to be interviewed on here? Yes. He's a very good ring announcer, and he's very knowledgeable about professional wrestling. And you know what? He helped me find, I forget if it was my cell phone or my wallet once.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. I helped you find your wallet. I was like, dude, I was freaking out. I'm like, this guy came from Canada, and his wallet's like lost in a Texas high school.
Yeah.
I
So
love that comment though. Is this guy well? Hell, you know what? You make me question myself. I don't know what his name. JJ the Rule. I don't know. Kobe
what
Covington
did you
will.
say his name was?
JJ the
It
Rule.
doesn't matter what his name is.
Exactly.
Bill says, "Will Kobe Covington beat Usman on Saturday?" You're actually an MMA ring announcer too, so you're actually a good person to ask about this.
So technically, I haven't ring announced MMA yet. I am an MMA commentator. I've just started working with Gulf Coast MMA, which is one of the most premier MMA companies all across the country. I mean, they're doing stuff at a very fast rate. Their production is legit. They're booking the best fighters. They're on pay-per-view every month. They are booking the big venues and selling them out. And I'm working with Gulf Coast MMA on commentary, and I'm really hitting my stride as a commentator with my broadcast colleague, Dynamite Dave Hardy. He's a legendary ring announcer as far as the combat sports world goes, MMA boxing down here in Louisiana. He was featured on Showbox Boxing one time. But working with Gulf Coast MMA has been cool, man. And I've always been an MMA fan, but until you go in there and you see what these guys are going through in order to make weight and to train for these fights, and they put everything to it, and let's just say they get in there and they're so ready, 14 seconds, they fold and they collapse, they get knocked out. Where do you go from there? Like, if I was in their shoes, I would just say, I can't do this anymore. But they go back in the gym Monday morning, they're training again. That takes a lot. So it's a hell of a thing. Learning a lot about MMA broadcasting, and just having a good time with it. And I'm working with a very good group with James Sharp and Nathan Rogers over there at Gulf Coast MMA, and I thank them for the opportunity. December 4th, we're headed to the Lafayette Cajun Dome Convention Center. That's the place where Dustin Poirier first got his big break. So looking forward to calling the action down the middle in Lafayette.
How do you find calling MMA compared to calling pro wrestling?
What was that question again? You kind of broke up there.
Oh, sorry. Commentating MMA compared to commentating pro wrestling. Obviously, there's a lot more technicalities involved with MMA. But I'm just curious, what's easier for you? I know you're more of a pro wrestling fan, but they're similar in some ways to call.
So with wrestling commentating, I used to commentate for wrestling, and here's the thing with wrestling commentating. You got to love the person that you're commentating with, because if they just throw you on a table with somebody you ain't never met, and they're just some goofball that's trying to get some shtick over and some gimmick over, like, I don't know. They're talking about everything but the match. Did you see the new Avengers movie? Oh, wow. Like, who cares? These guys are out there putting their bodies on the line. Like, we're calling the action here. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of stepped away from wrestling commentating, because it's too gimmicky, and you got to give more emotion into it, because of course what you're watching is entertainment. So you got to give the emotion into it. But all in all, and this is the way that I have called wrestling, whether it's wrestling, MMA, sumo wrestling, whatever, BMX, it don't matter. You call it like you see it. You call it as sport, like Jim Ross always said. It's an athletic contest, and in wrestling, if there's big spots where, oh man, this guy is turned his back on his friend, and you show that real emotion. That was always fun in wrestling. Those big high spots of this guy who the fans love has turned his back on the fans, and he's made a deal with the devil. Whereas MMA is like, and we're gonna go into ref stoppage here for some strange reason. We're in ref stoppage, and there was a low blow, and you're calling it just like sport. I will be honest, man. I like calling MMA a little bit more than wrestling, just because, honestly, you're right there. You're next to that cage. And if you saw on my Facebook page, the blood splashed through the cage onto my notes.
I did see that, yeah.
That was sick. And I was just like, I got to get the hell away from this damn cage, but they're right there, man. And you see it all. And MMA, man, whenever you're right there next to that cage wall and you see what's going on, man, there's nothing but broken noses and blood gushing everywhere. And it's just more sport. And I love calling things like sport. I hate the cartoon Bobby Heenan. There's the dog.
She wanted to pop up and say hello.
What's up, doggy dog? I forget your dog's name.
It's Piper.
Piper, that's right.
She told me she wanted to hear your accent.
Yeah, Piper. Hey, ¿cómo ça va, Piper? There you go.
Yeah, she is a French miniature poodle. But yeah, sorry, you were saying about the Bobby Heenan commentary. You don't like that style as much.
No, I absolutely despise Heelface commentary. The only Heelface commentary duo that was ever good at it was Gorilla and Bobby. I think Corey Graves is a good guy and a stand-up guy, but I cannot stand whenever Michael Cole is trying to call the action and Corey Graves is like, listen to these disrespectful fans. Who cares? Just call the freaking action. You know, Don West and Mike Tenay in TNA, they called the action like they saw it. They called it like sport. And that's the way wrestling should be called. And if you don't agree with me, ask Jim Ross that, and he will tell you straight up. It should be called like sport. No gimmicks needed here. So I'm not a fan of the heel face commentary duo. If I'm producing a commentary team, I'm just going to tell him, hey, bud, drop the gimmick. So
I guess you weren't a fan of Jesse Ventura then, as David brings up. He was a fan of Jesse.
Hey, you know what? And Jesse was great, and that was just a different time. That was a different time where things were just a little bit more cartoonish, you know. So and no disrespect to that era at all, but you know, that was the heel face thing was a big thing. The heroes and villains, but now I think the athleticism is more appreciated than anything, and I think, you know, there's no way that a guy can just go on commentary just to side with the heels. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's just me.
There's not really any true heels really in wrestling that really stand out to me in my mind now either, for that matter.
I think the last one was Tracy Smothers.
Did you know Tracy?
I never met him and always wanted to.
Yeah. I was friends with him. I was sad that he had to suffer so much, and then he passed away young, but at least he's out of pain.
I love the picture of because I always scroll on YouTube and that video clip of the interview that you did with him. I forget, they're like Tracy Smothers shoots on like punching JBL, and it's just that one shot of him going. It's great.
Oh God, yeah. He gave like a 4-hour shoot interview that night. He was on fire.
I love it. I love it.
Did you ever see? Known that'd be the last time I saw him. I wish I had, but you never know those things in person. I didn't even know he was sick at that point in time.
There you go. Yeah.
Mitch says Tracy against the Juggalos is a classic. I'll have to look that one up.
I never seen that. What about the one with him versus Sue Young? Did you ever see that?
No.
Oh, that's so good. I got to send that to you. Whatever. He's like, it was something that WrestleCon was doing in New York for WrestleMania, and Tracy Smothers versus Sue Young. Like, who thought of this? It's like they rolled the dice. Oh, yeah, some bitch. Just throw them out there. And, dude, he just cuts a promo in New York, and he's like, if Osama bin Laden would have bombed the bridges, like, y'all be screwed or something like that. He said some crazy stuff. It was hilarious, and people were booing him. He had the flag, and people were they couldn't believe it.
That must have been Joey Ryan's pianist party, I imagine, because I know he did that.
Yeah, that was
that show in New York. There's a guy that's probably not going to be in championship wrestling from Hollywood anytime soon.
He was not no more.
Ryan?
He was not no more.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they would put his antics on network TV or syndicated TV. But I wasn't a fan of him before the accusations, and I'm not a fan of him now. But you were saying before you weren't a fan of the cartoonish era of wrestling. What was your favorite era?
Uh, what do you mean? Like just
Like,
overall
was
time
it the
period?
Attitude Era? Obviously not the Hogan era. Was it
Obviously not the
Mid
Hogan
South
era. I
watching
love
it
each other.
back? Was it ruthless aggression? Is it today's whatever you call it corporate era where everything's so PC?
Yeah, man. I remember watching just being hooked on TNA in the early 2000s. Man, that was my go-to. And you can ask anybody that's friends with me. Um, I I honestly believe that TNA was like, yeah, Raw is like where the amateurs wrestle. TNA is where like the best of the best goes to wrestle. This is stuff that I actually believe, and the production was just so good, and just that impact zone, and just seeing all these guys going out there, and oh man, there was just something about TNA and how they were building up these storylines, and their matches were great, and um, yeah, and I was such a big fan, absolutely. But that and yeah, I guess ruthless aggression, whatever. But I just didn't ever understand. I would watch Raw and like there'd be like a puppy dog, and then there'd be like a barbecue sauce in the ring, and then there's like slime, and then there's like a urinal or a porta john, and a limousine blowing up, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I turn it on Thursday nights on Spike TV, and you'd see, AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels or Samoa Joe or versus Kurt Angle in an Iron Man match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. You know, that's wrestling right there, brother. That's just me.
Unique question here. Thoughts on Jake Roberts?
I think Jake's awesome. Jake the Snake. Love the resurrection. Um, I guess Jake over the years was just misunderstood in his status. But now he's clean and sober, and I can only imagine what he goes through whenever he sees people that hasn't seen in a while, and he kind of has that feeling where he has to apologize for his old self. But Jake is a new man. I would love to meet Jake Roberts. I've never worked with Jake, but yeah, that's all I have to say. I mean, hey, Jake's Snake, Jake Snake Roberts. I think he's awesome. And DDP worked wonders on him.
That is true, and there is a shoot interview with Jake on this channel. Bill brings up that the fans bring up Matt Bourne every interview. Yeah, very strangely, for some reason, Matt Bourne somehow gets into the talk of every single interview I do. Who would have guessed there'd be so many Matt Bourne fans? But another one, this will be the last fan question we discuss here. Thoughts on Sonny? Have you heard about Sonny's latest stuff?
No, and I'm sorry, but I honestly don't care.
This is really weird. This is really weird, though. I gotta at least tell you because it's like weird even for her. She had a contest where I guess males had to send in pictures of themselves and their genitals, and the winner of this contest would get to participate in a porn video with her. And apparently the guy that ultimately won is allegedly abusing her now, and there's all this controversy, and she's posted a picture in a hospital bed and
Oh
so
God.
much weird stuff. But like, what kind of a contest? Have you ever heard of such a contest? She's like in her 50s now. Guys, send me your pictures. What's that?
Why?
OnlyFans.
Dude, that's pretty good because it's not only the website, but it's only her fans that can be a part of it. Oh, that's good.
Somebody thinks Virgil won. No, I don't know if she...
Dude, you ever heard that Lonely
You know
Virgil?
what? I wouldn't watch a Sunny porn normally, but if Virgil was in it, I would have to watch that. I'm sorry. Just out of the obscurity of it.
Virgil's a legend, dog.
I actually interviewed him not too long ago, and it was a very disappointing interview.
I tell you what, an interview that you did that was really disappointing was that one with the goon.
It's on his Wikipedia now. It made
Have you
his
talked to
actual
him since?
Wikipedia. So I'm glad that he tried so hard in that interview that like that's his first public appearance in like 15 years. And this is now what he's going to be remembered for. But I would like to at least think that I had something to do with his toy coming out because WWE has just released a toy of him. So I
Oh,
would
no.
like to think that I may have brought him back into the spotlight just enough for
What?
WWE to put out a Goon toy.
You're going to ask me a question like that? I mean, come on.
He was so defensive from the very first question.
Dude, yeah, it's like I watched it all and I was just like, come on. Like that one and Dark Journey, that was really weird.
Dark Journey was so drunk she shut off her own phone 35 minutes into the interview. Like she was just rambling incoherently.
I think one of the best, and I told you this personally, one of the best pieces of art that you've ever done was the video of Terry Funk after you slapped the piss out of him at that thing I did at the hotel room before the match between you and Kevin Nash. And he's like, I just want you to take a good look at my ear. Looks like a piece of meat. Looks like an 18-wheeler damn near ran over my face. And tomorrow I'm going to officiate an athletic contest. And you know you know damn well I want Kevin Nash to win. But it's my job to officiate an athletic contest. And how he said athletic contest. Like, what the hell is it? They playing dodgeball or arm wrestling? It's an athletic contest. That was great. That was one of the best things I think you've ever done. But
I like to take credit for the dementia that he has now.
I didn't think about that. Why'd you do it? That's messed up. He probably asked you. Said, I guarantee he probably said, lay it in there. Goddamn son of a bitch, lay it in there. No, that's it. That's the picture. That's the picture right there. God.
I like how his first aid was to put tape on his ear. Like as if this is going to fix a broken eardrum. Just throw some athletic tape on the ear. It'll be all right.
Athletic tape.
So we are here to talk about championship wrestling from Atlanta.
Yeah.
As someone says, I also forced Lanny Poffo to move to Ecuador. Yes, you can all thank me that he's now out of the United States of America. I'm sure nobody misses him.
His gear was getting way too small for him.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
One of the strangest guys ever in the history of the wrestling business. But you know what? If there was money involved, I believe he would have applied for the Sunny porn. But
he probably would have. Yeah. I remember you broke that dude's arm. Or did you?
I could have, but I showed mercy because I needed him to wrestle the next night.
I just remember Honky Tonk Man walking in there. He had his jacket on and he had like his boots and his tights on. He's like, come on, guys. What the hell are y'all doing in here? I mean, god damn. That was the best. Just pissed off Honky.
I lost you there for a second, but yeah, Honky Tonk Man, the funniest thing about that people might not know is he was actually very drunk during that whole scene. And if you look carefully during that, he's actually holding beer. And when he goes back to sit down, he's got a whole case. So I love how he was the voice of reason in the whole thing. Great guy. And also he holds the record for the most viewed shoot interview on the internet that I did with him, nearly 4 million views.
Awesome.
But he wants nothing to do with wrestling anymore. He doesn't like the wrestling business these days.
I don't blame him.
Before I finish off with Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, I will give one thing a plug that I just found out about. Pro Wrestling Noah is going to be airing the Great North Wrestling match between Rene Dupree and the Blood Hunter. So that's pretty cool. And Championship Wrestling from Atlanta coming up this Sunday, November 7th. Tell us why people from Atlanta should come to this.
Man, it's Sunday night in Atlanta, Georgia. Sunday evening, I think the show starts at about 5 p.m. You want to be a part of history, okay? This is going to be filmed. It's going to be aired all over the world. So you want to be a part of this. Come on out. It's going to be in Norcross, Georgia, which is Atlanta. Espacio, I can't pronounce the name of the building to save my life. I'm not very Spanish. It's Espacioso Discotheque. I think it's called Space Disco. I don't know. I can't pronounce it, but that's where Mucha Lucha Atlanta runs their events. Lots of great action. Doc Gallows is going to be there. AC Mack versus Carl Fredericks. That's going to be big. Carl Fredericks, New Japan Strong. AC Mack's doing it big. A huge grudge match between Baron Black from AEW and Lord Crew. These guys have been attacking each other each and every episode of Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. It all comes down to this. This Sunday, they're going to have a grudge match. The match can only be won by submission or knockout. My boy, Rey Fury, makes his Championship Wrestling from Atlanta debut. A good Lucha Libre guy from the Gulf Coast, going to be taking on Shane Mercer. A lot of Shane Mercer fans out there. The good brother Doc Gallows will be in the building as well. Another grudge match here as the Killer Bay, Heather Monroe. Hannibal, you know her very well. I think she's been in a couple of your Hannibal TV matches.
And yeah, there's a match of her on here as well as a couple interviews with her. I like her. She's good.
Yeah, Heather is very good at what she does. There's a reason why she's been with United Wrestling Network for so long. And the Killer Bay, Heather Monroe. Huge fan of Heather Monroe. She's going to be facing Reka Tehaka, who I'm a huge fan of. I just heard about her whenever we started working with her here at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, but she's been featured on AEW. She's got a Samoan gimmick. She's awesome. She's got that Samoan fight in her, and she does the whole I can't really do it. I shouldn't be doing that because that's her thing. That's not mine. Blanco Loco makes his Championship Wrestling from Atlanta debut as he teams up with D3. They take on the team of Angel Fashion and Mark Davidson. So that'll be a good little Mucha Lucha Atlanta type of match. And then the captain, Sean Dean, makes his United Wrestling Network debut. That's going to be big. A lot of Captain Sean Dean fans out there. Marina Shafir, former WWE star, taking on Savannah Evans. The problem, Marina Shafir from Moldova. Marina Shafir is very intimidating. She comes out to that classical music. It's she's super intimidating and she's super scary, and she could probably make me tap out pretty quick. I don't want to be anywhere near Marina Shafir whenever she's in the ring. And then one of our big matches is going to be AEW star Alan Angels taking on probably the biggest fan favorite in the history of Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. He's going to blow the roof off the place as soon as he steps through the curtain. I'm talking about Effie. So that's going to be a big one. Everybody loves Effie. Why would you not love Effie? Effie brings his own. There's that great picture. Why?
I was trying to put that up. I put the wrong one up.
Damn right, there he is. Honky tonk, man. Everybody just hang on a second. So Effie and Alan Angels, that's going to be big. Another one that's going to be a big grudge match coming down to an end. Danny Jordan and Marty Bell. Marty Bell finally gets her hands on Danny Jordan. Marty Bell, who we've seen wrestling in the past and other promotions. We originally brought her in at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta just to be an interviewer. She wanted to kind of further her broadcasting here at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, but Danny Jordan kind of pushed those buttons after a post-match interview gone bad. Danny Jordan is the real mean girl and hasn't been very nice to Marty Bell. Marty Bell is going to trade in the microphone for the wrestling boots as she's going to get back into the ring and she's going to take on Danny Jordan. Hopefully we will see this come to an end. Who knows what's in store for the future of them, but that's just a few of the matches that you will see this Sunday at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, happening at the Espacioso Discotheque. Hope I'm saying that right. In Norcross, Georgia, which is basically Atlanta. Tickets are super, super, super affordable. It's a Sunday evening. What the hell are you going to do? We should be running not super late. We're starting early. Hey, we got a meet and greet, I think, an hour before showtime. If I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. Okay. Yeah, there should be a meet and greet, I believe, at 4 o'clock. So come be a part of the meet and greet. Come meet the stars of Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, as well as the good brother himself, Doc Gallows. And also, folks, might I also mention Championship Wrestling from Atlanta is the hottest ticket in town. You know why? Because you never know who's going to be there. You never know who's going to be there. At our last show, they said that Diamond Dallas Page was there, but they said he was wearing a hoodie and a ball cap. We don't know how for sure that is. Glacier was there. Jimmy Wang Yang was there. Jordan Grace was there. So many others just stop in and just want to check out the young and upcoming talent that we have at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. Most of our talent's been seen on AEW, AEW Dark, Dynamite. I can't think of the name of the show they got. Rampage.
And
a lot of
Elevation. They have Elevation too.
How many shows they got? Elevation.
Elevation and Dark are the YouTube shows. I think Elevation is what Paul White or whatever his name is commentates, the Giant or the Big Show.
Well, you need to elevation yourself on down to Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, happening this Sunday in Norcross, Georgia, which is basically Atlanta, Georgia, right outside of downtown. I'll see you there. I will be your announcer. Johnny LaQuasto, Alyssa Marino, and Gilbert Corsi are going to be your commentary team. They are the best in the world at what they do. They're the best commentary team that I've ever heard in the history of professional wrestling, other than Don West and Mike Tenay. So they are incredible. We've aligned the superpowers of commentating all into one. So it's going to be great. David Marquez will be there in the building. You can take pictures with him. Zicky Dice will be there, causing mischief some way, somehow. So it's going to be fun. We're all going to have a great time at Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. We want to see you there. So,
and the Blood Hunter is not going to be there, so this is not going to happen to your notes. And these are his notes from that MMA show he was talking about. There's some blood splattered the other night. Yeah,
the blood flew out of the cage onto that. I tell you what, there was one show we did in Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is my hometown, at the Burton Coliseum, where it was a heavyweight fight, and this guy was on top of this guy. They were right in front of us, the cage. This guy was on top of him, punching this guy's nose. Bam, bam, and his nose bent, and his nose started doing that back and forth. And his nose broke because it was like a faucet of blood. And I was just like, this is hard to watch. And then you could smell the blood. The smell of blood's like pennies and stuff. And you could just smell that in the air. And I'm just like, well, this ain't no wrestling. This is MMA.
Let's hope he got paid more than they get in indie wrestling.
If it's a professional fight, they do. Amateurs aren't allowed to get paid.
Right.
State rules.
Now, I noticed you have a pretty good Honky Tonk Man impression. What would he have to say about how Lanny Poffo looks in 2021? That's a
ha! Look at that son of a bitch. I knew it. Look at it.
Someone said you had a double chin earlier. That's a real double chin.
His old brother was all right. His brother was good. Hey, Lanny Poffo, man. Hey, he wasn't worth the damn in the ring. Some bitch is over there.
I like how he had a WCW contract for 2 years and they didn't even use him once, even though he was getting $150,000 a year.
What is your deal with Lanny Poffo? I don't understand what the hell happened. I thought y'all were cool.
I stopped liking him because I did like a 3-hour shoot interview with him around the same time that I did my famous one with Honky Tonk Man and the Billy Graham one, original one, that all have great hits. And he told the true story of the Stephanie McMahon situation in it. And he was very open and had great stories. But then he got on good terms with WWE and refused to let me keep it out. So he wasted my time. And now also when he got on better terms with WWE and started doing fan conventions, when that backstage fight happened, he originally thought he was going to look good out of it and be the babyface. Well, it turns out when he started going to fan conventions, people were taking my side. So then he wanted me to take the video down, and I'm like, no, you were paid for that. You agreed to be on camera. I'm not taking it down. It's the most entertaining thing you've done since your match with Hulk Hogan. It's not going down. So we don't like each other anymore. We're actually enemies. But he actually moved to Ecuador, so I don't have
didn't
to
know
worry
that.
about him.
God bless him.
He's got Macho Man's money. He's got Macho Man's royalties. He's got his dad's money. He's doing just fine. He doesn't need payoffs from me anymore, so he can just bury me. Not that anyone cares what he says, luckily.
I remember whenever he walked up to you, he said, "Hey, you big piece of shit," and he just started slapping you. And then you were like, "Gacho, gacho, gacho," and you just grabbed his arm and twisted around his head, and you're like, "I'll break his arm. I'll break his arm right now." And then everybody like scrammed, and then honkin' zonk man was the honkinator comes in. He's like, "Come on, guys, what the hell are y'all doing in here?"
Yeah, with his ponytail that he had at the time, which I always found funny.
Yeah, the ponytail, and he had like his hair sticking out like that.
With his fanny pack and tights and windbreaker.
He had a
shirt
windbreaker over the tights. That was great with the knee pads and the boots.
and the beer in the hand. It's like, you know what? He really should have his own reality show. It's too bad he doesn't.
I remember they were going to put Ox Baker in a box, and that was going to be a TV show.
Well, he's passed away now, so
yeah,
he's a great character. I actually walked in at the Cauliflower Alley Club back in like 2004. I went into a restaurant, and he was already in there, but he was like making such a scene at the restaurant and just being like his wrestling character throughout his whole meal. And I'm like, is he really like this all the time, or is he just? It was quite something. But, thank you very much for joining me. Nice talking to you again.
Great to talk to you. Hey, somebody just texted me. They want to hear me do Jim Cornette impression.
As long as, yeah, sure, why not? He's not very well liked on this channel, but sure.
If he's not really well liked, then I won't do it.
You can do it. Go ahead.
Okay. God damn. I mean, went over there on Roy Rogers. Want to get a Roy Rogers sandwich, double onion with the double roast beef and horsey sauce and curly fries. Let me tell you something. I'll come right to that window and I'll pull that sumbitch out. You haven't even started cooking our order yet. The goddamn hell's wrong with you? We got an hour drive. That's all I got.
Not bad. You have another request. Could you do an impression of Vince firing everyone earlier today?
Fire everybody. I don't know. I can't really do it, Vince. God damn it. Get them all out of here. Get them out of here. Every one of them. Out. Get them out. Put them on that NXT thing. Yeah, we'll put them on NXT. Oh, we got too many people there. Get them the hell out of here. And they get rid of everybody. I can't really do events too good.
And what about a big "you're fired"?
You're fired. I don't know. I'm not really good at. Yeah, I can't do that one. Like I can't do the basic ones, but I can do the simple. Like I can do Kurt Angle.
Well, you're over with the Bandit.
Awesome. I love the Bandit. The Bandit. He's a cool dude.
Well, now you got to give us the Kurt Angle. There is an interview with him on this channel, so we must have some fans on this channel.
Kurt Angle and TNA. Mr. Anderson, son of a bitch. I just remember his lip would always quiver. That's whenever he was on that high heel turn. Jeff Jarrett knows. Something like that.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Well, I'll let you close this off with whatever plug you want to give. Again, you are closing your Twitter, but you're on Twitter. You're on Facebook. You're on Instagram. And you're on UWN, Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, coming to Atlanta for a taping this Sunday night.
Absolutely. This Sunday night, the whole reason why we're here, Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. at the Espacioso Discotheque, which is where Mucha Lucha Atlanta runs, happening this Sunday night. Get your tickets now. MuchaLuchaAtlanta.com. Tickets are very affordable. Witness the stars of Championship Wrestling from Atlanta, United Wrestling Network, and Mucha Lucha Atlanta all under one roof, as well as former stars of NXT, WWE, and current stars of AEW, all in one mix, all under one roof. It's a stiz-zacked card. We're going to have lots of fun. I think we got like 17 matches, so you better be there for most of it. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. The production in this building is awesome. Heard the food's good too, so going to be hitting that up as well. But yeah, check us out there. Get your tickets now. You're going to want to get them before we completely sell out. We have a meet and greet before the show starts. You can meet the stars of Championship Wrestling from Atlanta. I'm sure I'll be, I don't know, opening the door for people or something. They don't let me meet the fans. Yeah. Is what it is. So I'll be opening the doors, telling people, oh, there's the wrestlers. Who are you? I'm just a nobody. Anyway, so that's happening this Sunday. But coming up in my busy schedule, of course, I got a busy weekend of traveling to get to Atlanta and to get out of Atlanta. But after that, November 13th, I head to Bryan, College Station, Texas for Lions Pride Sports Here to Stay, our 4th anniversary show. Which is going to be big. That's the wrestling school in Texas that I work at, Hannibal. Houston Carson, former Evolve guy who had to retire due to a heart condition. He owns that, and he's got a great facility there. The production is unreal. He's actually going to return to the ring for one last time to face one of his students, see if his student Matthias can really handle what it takes to be a graduate from the Lions, then to be a superstar. So 4-year anniversary coming up on November 13th. And I think that's it. No, sorry. November 28th. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I'm headed to Laredo, Texas for the first time ever, the Gateway City, right there, a river away from Mexico. You'll be able to throw a tennis ball at Mexico from where I'll be. I'll be in Laredo. I'll be there for Legacy, LWA Legacy. I'm happy to jump on as your new ring announcer for LWA, of course, Laredo Wrestling Alliance, the premier wrestling group of Laredo, Texas. December 4th, I make my debut at the Lafayette Cajun Dome Convention Center, the place that Dustin Poirier built for Gulf Coast MMA, as we go live on pay-per-view on Combat Sports Now. And as of right now, that's all I'm allowed to say of my future schedule. So if you want anything else of me, go follow me. I'm on Facebook, Bryce Boudreaux. I'm on Instagram, Bryce_Boudreaux. My last name is spelled Boudreaux, and hopefully, like I said, Scarlett, we can work something out. We can get our last names taken care of and changed, because this Bordeaux Boudreaux thing, it ain't flying with me. That's all I have to say. Oh, hey.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button